Being an expat and entrepreneurship have so much in common. They both require you to step out of your comfort zone, take risks, and navigate the unknown. That's why I think so many folks who have moved abroad are successful when they start and run a business. I've also, through the Expat Women Network and community, met many women who, after moving abroad and becoming expats, also pivoted into entrepreneurship. In fact, I used to host a monthly event in San Francisco where female founders, mostly expat women, would pitch their startups to female funders. And I was so impressed with the kind of businesses, the gaps in the market they were addressing, and also listening to their stories on how moving to a new country inspired and empowered them to step out of their comfort zone and create solutions to problems that their potential clients had. So, before I go more into why I believe expats make successful entrepreneurs, let me introduce myself. I'm currently sitting in Lime Ridge. It's a trail pretty close to my place. It's a Sunday afternoon. The wind is a little strong, so hopefully you can hear me. But I decided to shoot outdoors. My name is Naina Kaputi. I'm the founder and CEO of the Expat Woman, and I help women make bold moves after they move abroad. I help them build their personal brand, their visibility, so they can showcase their expertise, their zone of genius, their North Star, their superpower, and get the opportunities that they want and they deserve. When you move abroad, you're stepping out of your comfort zone. You are taking the biggest leap you might ever have to take in your life. You're leaving behind everything that you're familiar with, your family, your friends, your community, your work, your culture, your country, and stepping into the unknown. It requires courage, it requires confidence, and because you've already stepped out of your comfort zone when you move to another country, when you start a business, which also requires you to get uncomfortable, it requires you to maybe leave your corporate job where you get a monthly salary, where your responsibilities are taken care of by the supervisor, by the owner of the company, and start from scratch, start something on your own. And I think because you moved abroad and have the courage and the confidence, it becomes easier to start a business. It's not for the faint hearted. Being an expat is not for the faint hearted, and so is running a business. The next one is taking risks. When you move abroad, you are taking a risk because you don't know what the country or your life abroad holds for you, what the outcomes will be. Will you be happy there? Will you survive and thrive? Will your career take off? Will you be lonely? The same thing with starting a business. You've got to take risks. As I said earlier, if you're working for a company and getting a monthly salary, now you've got to fend for yourself, be your own boss. And very often when you start a business, you're a solopreneur. So you don't have a team. You don't have anyone to turn to. You don't have anyone paying your salary. So you are taking a risk. But because you've taken this risk of moving to another country and learned how to thrive abroad, starting a business might not be so scary. Before I moved to the US, starting a business had never crossed my mind. But I think coming here, having to deal with challenges, navigate the unknown, gave me the confidence and courage and also opened my mind to new possibilities. I wanted to start something for international women because I couldn't find an organization that would help me evolve and grow in my career, build my skills and expertise, help me share my voice, get known, get seen, get heard, get the opportunities I wanted. And that led me to start the Expat Woman. And if I hadn't moved abroad, I would still be working a corporate job, may not have been happy, may not have really tapped into my zone of genius. So I think for many of us, moving abroad is a catalyst to starting a business. So the next skill that a lot of expats have is navigating the unknown. When you move to a new country, you've got to figure out housing, banking, transportation. If you have kids, you've got to find schools for them, etc. Sometimes you have to learn the language, you've got to learn the cultural norms, etc. It's all unfamiliar. And the same thing with starting a business. There's so many things involved, and you don't need to go to business school to start a business. Learning how to navigate a new country is similar to navigating a business. There are YouTube videos out there, there are courses, there's so many tools available for us, but we have the main skills, the skills to step out of our comfort zone, take risks, and so it's easier for us to move forward with our business. And that leads me to being problem solvers, because when you're navigating a new country, you're constantly faced with challenges, you're constantly faced with hurdles, and you have to find solutions for them. And this helps you with running a business, because a business is fraught with challenges. There's always something new that you have to deal with. But you've already learned how to deal with problems. You've already learned how to be creative, how to be innovative, how to think outside the box, how to thrive and survive in your life abroad. And so you can use those same skills to solve the challenges and problems that you face while running a business. It just makes you so much more stronger and so much more adaptable and flexible and creative. The next one that a lot of expats have to do is be lifelong learners. You're constantly having to learn when you move abroad, learn a new language, learn how to take public transport, learn new customs. The same thing goes with a business. You can't just start a business. You've got to learn how to set up your business. You've got to learn how to grow, how to sell your products or services, how to pitch to investors if you're trying to get funding, how to get clients, how to innovate, how to keep up with the latest trends and technology. But because you've been learning in your expat journey, you're open to learning to grow and lead a successful business. And finally, I would say that being an expat teaches you how to be resilient, how to persevere no matter what the challenges and hurdles are. You could pack your bags and go back to your country if things don't work out, but I think most expats are in for the long game, for the long haul, and are willing to take risks, are willing to pick themselves up every time things don't turn out the way they'd like them to. And the same thing goes with your business. You might have all these goals, you might have all these plans for your business, but they don't always turn out the way you'd like them to. There's feast and famine. There are times when you have a lot of clients, you're making a lot of money, and there are other times when nothing's happening. It gives you the strength to persevere, to move forward, to pick yourself up, to not give up, to not throw in the towel. And I think that's one of the biggest skills that a successful entrepreneur requires, to keep moving forward no matter what the challenges are. And I wanted to talk a little more about this because I've seen many entrepreneurs who are expats give up too easily because things didn't turn out the way they expected them to within a year. They are ready to just give up, and sometimes they have great ideas. And just with my own experience with running the expat movement for 12 years, I'm in here for the long haul. I've seen so many things that have, or I've experienced so many challenges along the way. Sometimes certain things have worked out, other times things haven't worked out. I have to go back to the drawing board, see what works, see what doesn't. COVID was a huge challenge for me because I used to host in person events every week in San Francisco. I was growing my community, my income, my network, my brand, the Expat Woman brand through the events. And in person events dried up. But what good came from that was that I went virtual, I went global, I went online, and now my community is expanded. I have clients in different countries, members in different countries, sponsors in different countries. I host online, global, virtual events. So I was willing to change, to pivot. But because I had already experienced so many challenges and so many pivots in my expat journey, it made it easier for me. As I've said before, being an expat or being an entrepreneur is not for the faint hearted. You've got to be thick skinned, you've got to be strong, you've got to be resilient, you've got to be adaptable, flexible, lifelong learner. You've got to be a self starter. You've got to motivate yourself. There's no one to encourage you. You have to be your own motivator. Of course, I have a wonderful membership or community for expat women where we're always encouraging and supporting each other. I'll share a link in the description. But when you are an entrepreneur, when you are an expat, you've got to do a lot of things on your own. And that's why I believe expats make great entrepreneurs. Now, let me know in the comments, do you have a business? Are you planning to start one? And if you have a business, how has being an expat helped you with running your business? And if you're watching this video for the first time, you've never subscribed before, do hit the subscribe button, do like, do comment. I'm sorry it's been so windy, but I was determined to do this video, and this is what I'm talking about, right? I had the script planned out, what I wanted to say, and then it's windy. Now I could do this video another day, but there's no guarantee that day will be a clear day where there won't be any wind or sun in my face, etc. Right? So I'm just going with the challenges and hurdles that Mother Nature has created while I decided to do this video. It's like being an expat or an entrepreneur. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye.